we're now looking down at the anchor well. The anchor lifts out hydraulically. Apparently they tell me that it was £10,000 on extra, but I don't know how true that is. We're looking here now, we can see a part of the halyard which is for the spinnaker, which is Dyneema. Looking round to the right, we see the halyard which is also Dyneema for the Genoa. On the deck you can see the spinnaker pole, which is quite short, but it runs out to 12 to 14 inches and is secured by a secondary deck mounting, which is, as you can see my finger, which is here. So the pole goes forward and it clips on there. Looking down the deck here now, as I mentioned earlier, that's the first lifting port for the master cabin, and the second and third. It's a view of the the jib system, which is a self-tacking jib, which is a great feature of this boat. Notice all the cluster of blocks, etc. Some are quite new, and also you notice the gas strut, which is also new. The boom has been strengthened because it was felt with the gas strut the boom would actually be needed to be strengthened. As you can see, all the lines are led aft. They run to the electric power winches, and there are jammers to each one is labelled. We have instruments, we have a 54, we have a 46 and a 44. Running back down here you can see the cradle for the external VHF transmitter and receiver. This also runs back to the main chart table, where there is also another transmitter and receiver. Looking over the side we see the boarding ladder. There is also another boarding ladder or boarding steps, and the whole of the stern lifts out and drops back. This cradle here is for the 10-man life raft, and these two cockpit seats also act as storage for ropes and ancillaries. Looking down here one can see the emergency tiller spot, and I will lift this up here so you can see the fairly large lazarette there, to which there is a Genoa, and there's also tucked away in the corner the asymmetric spinnaker. Looking forward again, here you see the engine controls and also fuel. And running down here we have the adjustable backstay, and looking forward again the two wheels, and also we have the Simrad chart plotter and controls up on deck, to which you can also control below decks at the chart table. They are both run together. Running forward, it's quite a large cockpit, great for parties, and the double table. We run forward now, looking at underneath the spray hood, and we see the two ports for both the port and starboard cabins. Here we go. Right, it's quite an ample sized stern cabin, double. There are cupboards all down the sides and quite a large bed. Lighting is quite good, quite bright. And we look here, there's shelving, notice the alcohol in the bottom there, and also a wardrobe. Notice the fire extinguishers. This boat actually is a category 2 vessel. We come out of this cabin. Right now we look at the galley. We notice there is a freezer. It also has a fridge. We come through the usual spots for the cups and saucers, etc, etc. And for those that are interested, there is a microwave, which is quite useful on board, which is also run either on the shore power or the generator. Gas cooker, quite a nice one actually. And looking down here, we have the freezer. And just for the boys, there is ample beer supplies. There is also a cupboard underneath the sink unit for all those things that you need for keeping the interior of the boat clean. Quite a nice double sink, hot and cold running water running round. We have 2 armchairs and a television set, which may not be to everybody's choice, but it's quite a good thing to have, I think, if you're stuck in a mooring somewhere. Running forward, slowly but surely, we're going into the master cabin, which is quite ample. Here again, it's heated by reverse air conditioning, and going further forward behind the headboard is sited the max power bow thruster, which is easily accessible. There is space underneath this double bed for storing more wine or beer and the like. Coming round to the left, we have a view of the master ensuite, which is quite ample in size, and again the water is supplied from a hot water system, which can be heated obviously by the engine or of course by an immersion heater. Coming around, this actually is the mast itself, which actually runs down through to the floor and onto the keel. Running forward again, come back into the main saloon. The main saloon, see the port, you can see that it's quite light, quite airy. There are blinds to the ceiling vents, and there are also curtain blinds on the windows as well. There is quite a nice table, which is suitable for quite a few people to sit round. I think we've had about 8 round the table at one time. Running forward again, you can see the instrumentation, some of which are switched on at the moment during this video. You can just make out the green light of the generator, which is purring away at the moment, running the air table, chart table, and the navigator's chair or seat. The chart table itself is quite clear. We'll take a half Admiralty chart, and as you can see, it's full of bits and pieces, which is for looking down here, we have AIS, we have the CME, we have radar. Up there we have Ferono Navtex. Looking at all the instrumentation up there, which are, when everything is on, there is a green light, and there's also the gauges at the top which tell you the fuel, etc, etc, and water. Looking here to the left, we have a sat phone, and also we have the standard production VHF, and above that you can see the control unit for the autopilot, etc. Running slightly to the right, we have bookshelves, etc, for navigation and smaller charts. We're running down, we are looking at the master vault system. Slightly to the left there is the air conditioning unit for the main cabin. Further to the right we can see the heating control system, and further to the right there you can see the generator, which you can see the green light running, we're drawing off a bit of power. The control unit for the Simrad system is situated there, which is just in line with the screen. Running round again, we see ample space for putting yet more junk, and the mascot swinging round to the left, and more importantly, we call this the crew toilet. The crew toilet is quite ample. It has a shower, and it has a shower door, which you can see here, which is very useful. We also, probably this is the warmest room or warmest cabin in the whole of the boat, because we have not only we have a drying locker. If you notice there's a few things hanging out to dry, but down here you'll see a port which pumps out hot air from the hot air system, the dispatcher heating system, and believe you me, this is a really warm room. Obviously the sink is quite deep, and there of course is the toilet and a mirror for the ladies, and obviously good hanging spaces, and there are two excellent cupboards, ample toilet paper and other bits and pieces, and of course we have the obligatory molten brown. We're coming back down into the stern cabin. This is the other stern cabin, marginally smaller than the other one, but it's still quite a nice double cabin. Also light and airy. One thing that Hanses do, they do make boats very light and airy. This again is heated by the reverse air conditioning, and so we also have cupboards here for putting bits and pieces in. Running back out of this cabin, we have the engine, of course, which everybody wants to have a look at, and there is a built-in light system, so you can see what's going on those dark days. It's on gas struts, which is supported, and so I think that probably will be about it.